today's video, and we'll be able to tell whether he has dreadlock extensions or if this is his real hair. I can say this is that his dreadlocks are looking really good, so that's probably why a lot of people are saying that they're extensions. But let's take a look. But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you guys do enjoy dreadlock videos. One thing we're starting to notice about Trippie Red's dreadlocks is that they're looking a lot more full and a lot more mature. But considering his hair type, with it being about a 4B, I can say that his dreadlocks match that hair type. Because a lot of times people will get dreadlock extensions. We've actually seen a little Uzi Vert to where he got dreadlock extensions and the hair type of the extensions didn't match his hair type whatsoever. He had some sort of straight hair type extensions inside of his hair and it just didn't look right. I wouldn't say that it didn't look right, I would say that it didn't match his actual hair type. And with Trippie Red, I mean, he might have dreadlock extensions in. I would not be surprised. I mean, this is very popular. We've seen Lil Pump do it. We've seen Lil Uzi Vert do it. We've seen Smoke Perp do it. We've seen so many other rappers do the dreadlock extensions. And to be honest, to a lot of people, it's frowned upon. Coming from my perspective, I think it's up to you. If you want to do dreadlock extensions, just know that there's a stigma that comes with it. But to be honest, if you do it correctly using the correct tools, which I'll talk about in today's video, then it's going to turn out looking just fine. One thing we can see with Trippie Red's dreadlocks is that they did experience a rapid growth. So that's one thing that can indicate, obviously, being dreadlock extensions. But like I said, at the same time, they look very seamless. And that's what you want to do when it comes to doing dreadlock extensions. And the best way to make them look seamless is to make sure they match your hair type, first of all. So if you have black hair, make sure to get black dreadlock extensions. Whatever your hair color is and your hair type, you want it to match. And say the hair color doesn't match, then it's best to do what we see Trippie Red doing with dyeing the hair. So we see in this photo, it's more of a flashback, but it wasn't too far ago in the year 2020. And this is where you can see the major growth or the major difference in the dreadlocks. We see in these photos that his dreadlocks are actually looking a little bit more frizzy. They're not as mature, they're obviously not as bright, but obviously that comes with bleaching the hair. But one clear indication that can possibly lead to him actually having the dreadlock extensions is that his dreadlocks aren't as thick in this picture versus the other pictures that we've seen in this video. And that's really to be expected. If you're adding hair to your existing dreadlocks, they're gonna appear more thick. And I would recommend, if you're doing dreadlock extensions, don't actually order the dreadlock extensions itself unless they look really good or unless that's what you want to go with. But I would honestly recommend just getting loose hair of your hair type, whether it be a wig that you cut and then install into your hair, or if it's loose hair that you just install, or even just braiding hair that you can install as well. Whatever it is, make sure, like I said, it matches your hair type and your hair color, or if you're gonna dye it, then it's okay. And at the same time, you have to make sure that you're using real hair versus synthetic hair, because synthetic hair can't dye and real hair can. The reason you'd want to use braiding hair versus dreadlock extensions that are already created is because typically the thickness won't match the thickness of your dreadlocks on whatever the extensions are. So when you go in and actually create the extension onto your hair using a crochet hook, which is the best tool to use for installing extensions to your existing dreadlocks, all you literally want to do is grab that braiding hair and put it at the end of your dreadlock, obviously leaving some wiggle room so you want it to overlap, and then you just pull all that new hair into the tip of the dreadlock, and then you just lock up the rest of the hair using the crochet hook using the instant locking method. So it is very simple, and if you do it correctly, it makes your dreadlocks look very healthy and very good. We've seen it with Lil Pump. His hair go from like looking very straggly and thin going to very thick and mature looking dreadlocks. And this is just another photo showing how thin his dreadlocks are, how short they are as well. And this wasn't taken too long ago, and this is a more recent photo, and you can just see the difference of how thick his dreadlocks are, how full they are, and how long they are. And that's really to be expected when you add hair to the hair that you already have. One thing I can say about dreadlocks is that they take extensions very well. They're very seamless, and the beautiful thing about it is once you install the extended dreadlocks, they're permanently inside your hair. So in my opinion, I think it's okay. But I would definitely recommend wait for your existing dreadlocks to become mature so that when you install the dreadlocks that it looks very seamless. Because a lot of times if you install dreadlock extensions on hair that isn't fully mature, then it's just not going to match. It's not going to look as seamless as you would like it to. And guys, in this last photo, I can honestly say that him with the red dreadlocks looks very clean. One thing that we noticed that we've seen with quite a bit of people is that the dreadlocks on the front are actually shorter, and a lot of people are actually doing this. I'm not sure if it's on purpose or if it just happens from that hair being a little thinner, but we've seen this with Sway Lee, we've seen this with now Trippie Red. Lil Pump does this as well.